Today is Saturday, March 19th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for week 2 of Survivor 42.
Yes. I saw a tweet from, I think it was a tweet from Ricard. He was basically saying, I sure wish we had these editors for our season. Because of how well everybody's coming off and how they're getting, we're getting the extra time early on with them in the camps, so we can see more of how the social game's evolving. Yeah, I think he was a little jealous. He didn't quite get the benefit of that. Of course, his whole tribe had turned on him by day 5, I think.
Yeah.
So that might have been a slightly biased take on it. But certainly we enjoyed this second episode, and now it's time to see what the superfans thought about it.
Let's do it.
Anything we need to cover before we jump in?
I don't believe so.
Okay, first up, we got Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Now, enough of this shot in the dark crap. It's bogus. It's not working. I don't think it's ever going to work. And this career advantage stuff. Go back to basic Survivor with maybe a couple idols and maybe a vote steal. I'm okay with that. But I'm going to let out a great big That was a solid episode tonight. So real quick, guys, because I thought it was going to be Tori, because I thought the blue team was going. All I'm going to say is, I'm a diva! I want to be in luxury with Zach, blah, blah, blah. That's what I felt with her and Chanel when I heard them speaking tonight. But Drea, though, she showed me some of her game, trying to play older men and the women there. I'm curious how that works out. And then I so hoping the green team was going to lose. Because Mike, man, what is up with Mike? I love him as a firefighter, and I think he's a great guy. But me and Mike, if you watch the season of Survivor, know where the clue is, man, and where you hide it once you find it. But to boot, you tell Daniel, you tell your whole tribe, basically, and Chanel, I believe. I mean, come on now. Everyone knows you're lucky you didn't get blindsided tonight, Mike. Get your head straight. And hats off to Daniel. He might be injured with that shoulder, but he's quite a gamer. I'm impressed with him. And then I was sad that the orange team lost, especially when they lost Jackson last week. I love Jonathan, of course. When I watched the challenge, because you guys remember Saj from Vanuatu, the way I heard Jonathan yell, it almost reminded me of Saj from that season. He was the best at that blindfolding challenge. But anyway, guys, love Jonathan and Omar. They're quite the unsung duo there. Very different personalities, but I love it. And Marianne, guys, I loved Marianne in the beginning, and I still do. I think she's fun. She's got a lot of energy of life, this and that. But then, as Lindsay said, you got to draw the line there. She dodged a bullet. She's going to have to change her game. And I felt so bad for Myra, especially hearing the story about her brother. I send my condolences out there. I don't know if she'll ever come back again, but I was sad to see the mom of the season and of this tribe go. Thinking of you, Myra. Enjoy your time with Zach there, wherever they send you. Well, let's see what happens next week, guys, in the water. That looks nuts. And hopefully, guys, no more of this crazy Beware Advantage stuff, but there will be. Hope for another solid episode next week. Take care. Woo!
Woo. Yeah, you're going to be sadly disappointed there, Pete. We're going to get much more Beware Advantage before it's done, I'm sure.
Well, but who knows? Maybe it'll be more successful this season.
Not if Daniel has his way. Yeah, next up, we got a call from Christiana. She's back.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Christiana from Massachusetts calling in with my feedback for the first time this season. I was a little behind with the episodes and the podcast, but I'm all caught up now. But so far, I'm really enjoying this season. I really like the cast. They just seem like good people, good players. They are vibing well. So far, I found the episodes pretty exciting. So hopefully that bodes well for the rest of the season. The Jonathan Omar combo, I really enjoy. They're kind of like the odd couple, and it's cute, and I feel like they both clearly have different skill sets, but at the same time, they're not so far apart that they can't have moments where they see the other side. Like, Omar's clearly somewhat of a physical player, and Jonathan, I feel like, has some decent emotional intelligence. He said in tribal council, like, oh, there are different skills in this game, or different strengths, or something like that. And just overall, I really enjoy the Orange Tribe. I love the group. They're so positive. They're being so nice to Marianne, who, she's very cute, but I would probably be erring more on the Mariah side of this is going to get old if I were there. So I just appreciate that everyone appreciates her attitude, and so far they aren't at least saying that they're annoyed. And speaking of Mariah, I think she had a beautiful story. She clearly wasn't there to win, but I mean, that's a pretty unfortunate but important distinction of her brother being the first healthcare worker to die of COVID in the US. So to get that story out there, I'm sure is really important to her. The challenge I thought was super exciting, right down to the wire. I like the blindfolded aspect because I feel like it really equalized it. And I also had the thought of, like, why is Jonathan calling? Because he said he wasn't good at puzzles, so how can he verbally coach them through a puzzle? But that really didn't seem to be so much of an issue. It was neck and neck with the Blue Tribe, Ika, I think they are. But more it was just like his voice didn't carry, and I don't know how much of a leader he was being. But overall, I thought it was a good episode, good season so far. I have Drea as my USB as well, and so far I like her. She's playing a little hard, but we're not. I feel like reading the edit, we're seeing some of her, but not too much that it's questionable. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited to hear about what everyone else has to say, getting back into this routine of listening to the recap episodes Thursday morning on my way to work, and then the feedback episodes Sunday morning while I eat breakfast and do chores. And I hope everyone is doing well. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, Christiana. Great to have you back. Next up, we got a call from Robert.
Hi, Joanne, Stacy, and Survivor fans. This is Robert from Canada calling in with my listener feedback. Well, it's another episode where I didn't get a vote-off point, but at least I got all my save points. Who would have guessed that Hercules tribe would ever go to tribal council? Speaking of Hercules, it was funny to hear Jonathan bellowing out instructions at his tribe during the immunity challenge. Much like you, Joanne, I'm really starting to like him. It seems like on Survivor, his archetype, the muscular, athletic guy, usually ends up being a super likable player, much like NFL Danny on season 41, or even the wrestler John Hennigan on season 38. And I think that Jonathan's going to do really well in this game, so anyone that picked him as a USB, I think you have a decent shot. Early in the episode, I found a couple things that made me feel bad for the Survivor players, and I'm sure that you guys noticed them too. First, with Hai having to eat the meat due to the lack of rice, I don't think someone should have to compromise on being vegan just to provide themselves with basic sustenance in the game. Starving's not fun, and I think that they should be given just the bare minimum amount of food, in order to get by in the competition. Second, I felt bad when I saw how excited Mike was that when he found an immunity idol. It should be an exciting and wondrous event when you find an immunity idol, but he didn't find an immunity idol. He found an inconvenience. We all know how this is going to play out. By the time his idol is powered up and ready to play, if he's still in the game and not voted out while having no vote, everyone will know he has it, rendering it completely useless. But Mike's not really helping his situation either by telling everyone about it, so maybe he deserves that. I was trying to remember the last time the immunity idol was actually played at Tribal Council to everyone's surprise and saved them from being voted out. And I think it was Natalie Anderson in Winners at War. I really missed the surprise of a hidden immunity idol play and hearing Jeff read over and over that the votes do not count. Next week should be really interesting. It looks like Marianne learned some mixed emotions in finding a modern-day hidden immunity idol, and we have a possible immunity challenge being canceled. I wonder if that happens, if it's just the two tribes that are left, if maybe they'll make those two tribes go to head-to-head in a different challenge, or maybe if the other tribe's not done the whole challenge, maybe all three of them can race up Shipwreck Mountain and see who the first two tribes are to get there. But anyway, what do you guys think they might do for a solution if they do end up having to cancel that challenge? I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Thanks, Robert. We were just watching an extended commercial clip for the next episode before we started, and definitely the water is super rough.
Oh, never seen it that
So
bad.
our best guess is, they've talked before about waiting to run a challenge because of the waves and things like that. So they're not sure why they chose to go ahead with this one. But our best guess is that they're just going to cancel the water portion, and they'll move the rest of the challenge on the land.
Yeah, in the pictures you can see a ladder where they go up and untie a bag. So I'm wondering if they don't just move that onto shore.
Yeah.
And
So instead
have them
of
do that there.
retrieving the sandbags that they have to throw out in the water with the ladder, they'll just have them do it on land. They'll just reset and run it that way. That's our guess. So, thanks, Robert. Next up, we got an email from Shahin in Australia. Shahin's back. Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hope all's well with you both. I wasn't able to send feedback last week and only had time to send in a letter this week. Unusually, I've not stuck to my guns of being the 241st player in JSFL, translation on the bottom there in the basement, and have started rather mediocre, which is a vast improvement on last year. I went in raw, no Jabbick influence or preseason interviews, so I'm rather proud of myself here. Game-wise, this was a rather balanced episode and felt more like the episodes of old, albeit with the same twist Season 41 brought in at the same time. The Beware advantage is poor. We saw it have nil effect in 41, and I don't think the players will be prepared well enough to make moves with them. It makes good TV, as Daniel alluded to, but I think it will be a non-factor. On the face of it, the shot in the dark has had great effect in being used twice thus far. However, both times were used in desperation and the player knew they were going home. Maybe this is the foreshadowing to a successful game-breaking dice roll later in the season?
Maybe.
The puzzle was great. However, the Ika tribe did shock me in avoiding the loss, and now we are left with arguably two average tribes and a very strong one, a position not too dissimilar to last season. Final thoughts are with Mariah. Why does production allow Mum on vacation, Mum finding themselves on a $1 million game? If their intention is not to win the game, isn't that disingenuous to the rest of the players and to the fans? Well, they'll always say that they're hoping to win, and they'll give reasons for why they can win. But as we saw with Sugar and Gabon, there's definitely players who show up and they have no intention of actually trying to win, and it can help someone else win.
I don't know if Sugar showed up that way, but she felt like she couldn't win, and I disagreed. I think she could have if she had chosen to push for that. But anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of not quite the point. But
I know. But
there are these players, and they choose them because of what they think they can offer to the overall story arcs. So there's plenty of people that they cast, like the Philip Shepard type. They don't cast those people with any illusion that they can win. They cast them because they offer a goofy alternative to someone else. So this happens all the time in the casting process. There's lots of different archetypes they cast with no real design on winning there.
Okay, back to Shahin.
Added to it is the rather unfortunate backstory. I really do feel for her, but if you had a feeling you weren't going to compete at 100%, then why have her selected? It's just another miss from production, first with Jackson and no adequate standby rules for a medical pull scenario, and now Mum's on vacay. Thanks for all you do. I really hope I can call in next week. Yeah, that'll be great. We look forward to it. Oh. You know, the first parallel to, what was it, Panama, Exile Island? That's the one that Suri was on, right?
No, she was on Cook Islands.
No, she was not on Cook Islands. It was the first time they did Exile.
Know.
Yeah, it was
I can't remember now.
Anyway, so we had Lydia.
RS1.
Spoiler, huh?
Oh,
so we had Lydia talking about how she didn't like sand, much like Suri didn't like leaves. And if you'll recall in that season, I can't remember the lumberjack lady's name.
Oh.
Anyway,
Tina.
Well, it was a Tina, wasn't it?
Yes.
She had just recently lost her son, and she was out there, and she couldn't get it going either. And much like Mariah, she said that her game didn't really kick in until day 5, not unlike Marianne, who said that she realized she was playing Survivor when she came into Tribal Council. But Mariah is much like Tina in that same season, in that sense that you can have that loss just hovering over you, and it can consume your thought process and conflict you, keep you from being able to play your best game.
That's why I said I thought she'd do better at Ponderosa, and she would have all the time she needed, both to.
It didn't work
be
out that
alone
way,
and
though. It didn't work out that way for her, from what she said in her interview with EW.
Oh,
I'll link that in the show notes. She didn't end up burying it out there. She said that wasn't it. She just ended up feeling like this wasn't the closure place. So she was still in search of that.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Shahin. Up next, we have a call from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy, and all my Survivor friends. Season 42, and I'm loving it so far. I chose my USB after not too much of consideration, but as Stacy would say, I'm batting for the home team. Yes, it was Omar, and it so happened that he's a vet like my elder son, and his smile reminds me of my younger son. And so far, he's playing pretty well. I like him, and I just found that the relationship between him and Jonathan was so enduring and so cute. I really liked it. Jonathan reminds me of that guy with Rob Mariano, the long-haired Grant, and I really liked him as well. And Jonathan is nothing like Ozzy. He's so likable. Drea, I don't know. I think she'll be gone soon, even though she's got an extra vote, an advantage. Not really high on my list of likable people. Roxroy is the schoolmaster kind of guy. Didn't like him. Swati, I'm quite surprised, and I'm pleased with her way she's playing. Can't stand Tori at all. I think she'll be gone soon. I like Daniel. He's crafty. Hai is also likable. So is Jenny. Don't have much to say about Lydia. But Mike made me really laugh. He's got a bit of Philip Shepherd-like vibes with all his bumbling around and losing the idol and horrible underpants, which I have to look at. It's good fun so far. And I'm having a horrible time in the JSFL, which I'd rather not speak about at the moment. So I have no idea who will go next. But if it is the Blue Tribe, the Ica Tribe, then I think it would either be Tori or Drea. And if it's Taku, then it's Marianne. Oh, I had to say about Marianne, that crying, that was horrible, that fake crying. Who cries that loudly for somebody you met for just one day? And she is a lovely girl, but don't get me wrong. If she was working with me or near me for more than like 20 minutes, I would have to tell her to shut up. And I was wondering whether she was making all those noises and everything in the tribal council where she was trying to be a bit like Tony. But whatever, she can be very annoying. And I hope she finds Zach soon in Ponderosa. Okay, so if it's Taku who goes to tribal, then it'll be Marianne. And if it's Vati, I think it just might be Mike. So I have to choose between Mike, Marianne, or Tori. So I'll see who goes next. And the way my luck is going, I'm not going to get it right. So on that note, I'll wait to hear what everybody has to say. It's been so nice to hear everybody's voices. Keep safe, everybody. Bye for now.
Thanks, Rashmi. Yeah, I like that reference to Grant. Jonathan's got a similar chill vibe to Grant from Redemption Island, the NFL player that was like his number 2 guy for a while, huh? Mariah said that she was just in awe of Jonathan watching him. He, the way he climbed up, there was like 2 coconut trees, and he was like climbing between them, working his way way up there in an Ozzy-like moment. Except she said it was better than anything she ever saw Ozzy do in getting the coconuts, because they were so desperate to find some stuff there on their beach.
You'd think they'd showed that.
Well, yeah, I guess there was some other.
Yeah. Well, they
something
still
else they
might.
wanted to focus
they might
on.
show it some other time.
Yeah, that's true. She said it was really impressive to watch him. Thanks again, Rajmi. Next up, we got a call from Chris. A lot of returning callers this week.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. I really was not looking forward to this season, but as JSFL approached, I remembered something David Letterman once said. Sometimes it's better to take a shower in a raincoat than to miss the prom. High was faced with a sustenance dilemma over the crabs, but at least the packaging was plant-based. When he did opt to become a meat freak, I could almost hear the chant, good and guilty, one of us, one of us. Hey, that's from the name of the episode. What you talking about, Jeff? Marianne looks like a fun player to have. On the other tribe, I guess she has a good attitude. I like to look for life's blessings. For instance, thank goodness I don't have to live with ostrich shirt, although I don't see Omar as an outcast. He has a good faith-based system, and what's wrong with that? Now his shirt, that's ostracized. Over at the IKEA tribe, Drea's Triumph song was a little flat. I loved when Tori said, "That's a new thought for you?" I like Tori, and I picked her for my USB. I liked her headshot. Thanks for the roster, Paul. Jonathan was so cool with the machete. Hey, Joanne and Stacy, can you imagine the children those two would have? Survivor fans, I'm liking the rerun of the complicated clues. I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention before, but now it's like watching a heist movie for the second time and going, oh yeah. Can we address the trimming of facial hair and dental care? Asking for a friend. When Mariah tells her story, we start to hear the pan flute in the background. That's never good. You know what would make it better? I'd like to see Coach Probst playing pan flute in the background, maybe behind a rock or off to the side like in one of those Olin Mills portraits. With only one challenge, there's lots more footage of camp life. Yay! Which means there's lots more discussion of the convoluted clues. Yay! Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, Chris. He made me think of those. Do you remember those commercials that used to be on for Zamfir, the pan flute? The guy who played the pan flute?
Nope.
It's on like WTBS. I wonder if Chris saw those when he was growing up, too. Oh, thanks, Chris. Next up, we got a call from Boother.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy, and all you Survivor fans. This is Boother calling in. Well, we've had 2 episodes of season 42. In both tribal councils, the shot in the dark was played. Wow. Appears that Zach and Marianne knew their heads were on this chopping block. So their tribe mates are being pretty honest with them. They just know from the dynamics of the tribe that they're the first to go. Now, Marianne was so cute, expressing her crush on Zach. That was a surprise to us, but apparently all her tribe knew about it. She's going to have to wait until she's out or the show's over to team up and see Zach. What was also amusing in the episode was Mike finding his beware advantage. Well, he made the mistake of telling people. First he tells Jenny, then he tells Daniel, and then he loses the idol trying to show Daniel. Daniel's expressions were so funny. Well, Daniel ends up scheming with Chanel to prevent Mike from activating that beware advantage. So did Daniel or Chanel hide Mike's idol? We'll find out in the next episode. Finally, on the Taku tribe, I think it's nice to see Omar, Jonathan, and Lindsay and Marianne all getting along so well. And we hear about their faith. A Muslim, a Christian, and a Jew. It almost sounds like a joke. A Muslim, Christian, and Jew walk into a bar. We'll have to work on that. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to what everybody else has to say. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy. Bye.
Thanks, Boother. Mariah said that she pretty much knew she was going. I think Jonathan and Lindsay both came and told her, no, it's not you. And then Marianne wouldn't look her in the eye before they headed out to tribal council. So, yeah, she was pretty set on it. She also said she told Zach about Marianne's crush. And so Zach became enamored, and he was cheering for Marianne. So that was his thing, because she's his connection to the game now.
All right.
Yeah, so he's going to be looking for updates on Marianne updates for everybody who comes out. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
This was another decent episode. I do feel sorry for High being a vegan out there, but then again, he did want to go out there to play the game. I don't think anyone who plays will truly understand the power of not sharing their advantages. For first being Drea in sharing the extra vote she received, and the next being Mike with the Beware Advantage and Idle. We now know 2 of the 3 phrases from the Beware Advantages. I do feel like the soccer one we heard this episode would be a lot easier to put into a conversation than the potato one. In the immunity challenge, it seems like it would be hard to hear with everyone shouting out orders and directions. I would probably struggle with being the caller for this challenge. I am happy to see Marianne stay in the game because she's still entertaining, but I can see where her tribe is coming from when they say she could be annoying, being that ball of energy all the time. Next week, Mike's idol saga continues, and something happens at the immunity challenge. I hope everyone turns out to be okay. All right, thanks, Jack. Up next, we have a call from David.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh. Well, I'm rushing around trying to get some thoughts together to send them in to you. I couldn't watch Survivor until late Wednesday night, and we were out, and so I watched it before I went to bed, and then didn't get a chance to do my rewatch until later Thursday. And then we had company come, and they stayed overnight, and then they left today, and now I'm trying to get my thoughts together. But, you know, I really resent real life interfering with my Survivor life. Let me just say that right now.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking. Just a couple of things. Mike and his Beware Advantage that keeps disappearing and reappearing. He talked to Jenny, which I thought was good because it looks like she's a person that you can talk to and she can keep a secret. But then he went and talked to Daniel. And again, I thought, okay, maybe he should have just talked to Daniel if he wanted somebody to help strategize with him on this. But then Daniel goes and talks to Chanel. My concern is where were High and Lydia in all this? It didn't seem like they knew anything. And so that's concerning me, and I'm thinking, what alliances does High have? Who is he connected with on his tribe? And I'm not getting a sense right now that he is. I have a feeling he may be more connected to the 2 women who both got the advantage with him when they were at the first challenge, but I'm just not sure where he fits in all this. So I am concerned about that. And obviously that's because he's my USB. The other thing I want to talk about is the Marianne vote off. I can understand. Mariah looked as if she were not quite playing the game. I think, again, like Zach, if she had been there a few more days, but because the game had taken off running, she was kind of left behind. And I think apparently Jackson was her number 1 ally, and when he was voted off, then she was kind of left with no one. But in trying to decide which to keep, which to go, I find Marianne to be very problematic. I thought from the first intro when she was going on and on, I thought, she could really be hard to take. Well, now I found out that she is that way 100% of the time. And again, she's fun. Everybody likes her. They smile when she's around, but I just think she would drive me over the edge. So I'm not sure keeping her was a good idea. We'll see how things go. I felt really bad for her when she was shaking in tribal council, but again, I don't know. I think I would have gone with the older, wiser Mariah and let Marianne go. That's all I have time for today. So talk to you next week. Bye.
I'm with you, David. I would have went with loyalty, and I thought Mariah had that. I don't think Marianne will necessarily have it. She wasn't shaking. She was bouncing her leg.
Nervous energy like Stexy does when he's at his computer.
Yeah, I have that sometimes too. So wasn't quite shaking. And as to High, we learned in the first episode that he's aligned with Lydia. So Jenny and Mike aligned, and then Chanel said, well, I need somebody. So she aligned with Daniel, right? So High and Lydia supposedly are looking out for each other on that tribe. Thanks, David. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana, and I think what I was saying about this cast not being the most strategic in the Javik show, is starting to come to fruition because, wow, this was messy. This was very messy. I liked it. I thought it was a fun episode, but oh my gosh. The gameplay. Pretty much the only gameplay moments we got was Drea kind of trying to form a girls' alliance on the Blue Tribe, and then Daniel and Chanel trying to figure out what to do with Mike's idol. Which, oh my gosh, Mike, you had to. Why do people keep telling people about their idols? Stop doing that. I get with this Twitch, you kind of need some insurance, but just stop. Don't do it. It screwed over Sander. Gonna screw over Mike. Like, just quit. It screwed over Brad, too. Just stop doing it. It's not that hard to just shut up about an idol. It's the fact that he told 2 people. He didn't just tell Jenny. I don't think Jenny told anybody. I think Jenny and him are actually in alliance, and they're, like, good with each other. But no, he told Daniel, too. Why would you do that? That's mind-boggling. And I know nobody thought that Mike would be that strategic. But, like, buddy, what are you doing? Yikes. And then the Orange Tribe lost the challenge, which was surprising, but also not very surprising because they put Jonathan as the caller. The dude pointed to a piece. He pointed to a puzzle piece. They're blindfolded, Jonathan. They can't see you pointing. This was a mess. The hermit crab thing, pointing to a puzzle piece when everybody's blindfolded, telling people about their idols, like there's the whole Zach and Marianne thing, like what was this episode? Like it seemed like the Survivor Comedy Hour with a little bit of wholesome dramatic moments sprinkled in there. But it was really cool. It was really cool to see the tribe accepting differing beliefs that the people had, which was really cool because that's something we don't see very often on Survivor and not very often in the real world either. So that was cool to see. I guess Omar is the top spot because I don't know. I feel like him and Jonathan bonding, and then Jonathan was already close with Lindsay, so that's kind of a 3 locked in. And on a tribe that's that small already, 3 is good. So I feel like maybe Omar is in the top spot because I don't know how much strategic value to give Jonathan or Lindsay. Lindsay seems a little more together, but still, I don't know. All right, that's all I got. I will see you guys next time.
Excellent. Thanks, Parker. Next up, we got a call from Cameron. Cameron's back.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans. This is Cameron from North Carolina. I'm sorry I missed my week 1 podcast submission. Life's really busy again, of course. I did not forget my JSFL this season. Thankfully, I got my week 1 picks in, got a USB 40 in, and haven't lost a save point yet, so I'm doing good on that front. I went with Mike as my USB this year, and so far he was really liked week 1, and I won't say that's changed week 2, but he's doing something pretty stupid with this idol. I don't know what his incentive is in hiding it instead of just taking it with him, or if he wants to hide it, don't bury it under a random tree, of course. And so with the preview next week, I kind of wonder if Jenny or Daniel snooped in there themselves and stole it. But then again, I wonder if they'd even be able to do something like that, because as we saw in Game Changers 8 seasons ago, Sari tried stealing one from Sarah when Sarah let her hold on to it and whatnot. And then when she tried using it, there was fine print, and it turned out it was Sarah's to keep, regardless of it being in Suri's possession. So I don't know what he's doing there. He should be a little bit smarter with that. But nonetheless, I'm not a fan of the 3-way idol again. I wasn't a fan of it last year. And of course, this season they don't know about it because they didn't see Survivor 41 when they filmed it. But the passwords, it's just very, very goofy to me. I don't see much of a purpose in it. And there could be a much cooler thing to do. I used to like whenever they had the idols at the challenge, you had to snoop away during a challenge or very secretively bend down and grab it from a pole or something like that. Those are really fun in my opinion, but the passwords, there's nothing much to them because, clearly these players don't know about the secret immunity idols, the passwords and whatnot, so when they get to the challenges, no one else is thrown off. But after this season, they definitely couldn't do it again, and I guess I won't be too upset. Very gimmicky, but it is what it is. And the shot in the dark, I don't see much purpose in that either. All the vote losing, all the vote gaining, It's a little too much, and it hasn't really thrown off any votes last season or this season so far that I can tell, but nonetheless, it's definitely a bit much. And lastly, I thought Mariah leaving was kind of surprising. I don't know, I guess the edit really wanted you to think it'd be Marianne going. I had neither of them safe, neither of them going home, so it is what it is. I actually had Tori going home, which would have probably been a decent one if Ika wound up going to Tribal. But nonetheless, pretty good episode, pretty good start to the season. I'm excited. I hope everyone else is. Joanne and Stacy, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Cameron. Good job. Glad to have you back. Next up, we got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, the episode really motored along. Overall, it seems to be a pretty good cast, though a few tribe members are still pretty purple. Here are my other observations. Did Tori tease a quit when she said she almost wished it was her going to Ponderosa? I think the slow crab wanted to get caught. He'd had his fill of aqua dumps. That's bad. That might be our first scatological humor. Scatological? I can't say that word.
You just did.
Jeff keeps talking about the monster. I think he means Marianne and her machete. Lindsay says she's a bad Jew. Does that mean she can't light a menorah? I used to work with a Marianne. She didn't have an off switch either. Omar doesn't want to be a 40-year-old virgin. He doesn't want to get his chest waxed. Marianne is from Canada, the Great White North. I think she'll find a boyfriend there. Oh. When will players learn that telling others about your advantage makes you a target? Daniel and I have different ideas of what must say this at the next challenge means. John and Omar combined to fuse brains and brawn. Are they the DC superhero Firestorm? Fireman Mike's strategic game isn't exactly setting the world on fire. John wasn't monkeying around when he groomed Lindsay, but I guess he was, right? So, okay. I like that she chimed in and said, get the bug, get the bug. They're just feeding off each other, huh? Mm-hmm. Cracking each other up. It sounds like Omar should sit out any peeing contests. Mike erred in burying his idol at a Y in the road. Everyone knows that X marks the spot. Marianne should focus on crushing challenges instead of crushing on Zach. A few cast members had potty mouths. They should say shizzle sticks like Marianne. Yeah, definitely Lydia was she was dropping the B word there in the challenge. John needs to learn, and Daniel, a different one, huh? John needs to learn that pointing at or tapping on stuff doesn't work on the blindfolded. The producers put Mariah and Marianne on Taku just for that MAR voting moment.
Yeah, it got me too.
MARY. Yeah, they went all the way to Y with Omar's writing, didn't they? Nothing says shady like getting caught looking for a hidden idol. Will Omar play Ponderosa matchmaker and send Marianne to join Zach pre-merge? Darwin's theory of survivor, the fittest survive by not losing challenges. Marianne's motor-mouthed litany of plans, options reminded me of Wallace Shawn's tortured logic in The Princess Bride's Battle of Wits. Oh, that's a good scene, too. This week's Tribal Council was preempted by an episode of The Dating Game. Cheer up, Stacy. My weatherman says that being in the basement protects you from tornadoes. There we go. The shot in the dark is like a saving throw in D&D. The monster must be an orc. That's good. Oh, I think the odds are much worse, though, for the shot in the dark, that is. The new normal for Survivor 42 seems to include unanimous vote-offs. Yeah, 1-2 in a row, huh? Next time, Jeff talks big waves and a Survivor first. Will the immunity challenge include surfing? Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Noelle.
Hi, everyone. It's Noelle calling from Albuquerque. I made this quick because we are going out of town tomorrow for spring break. Woo! So you won't hear from me next weekend. Sorry. I'm really enjoying your recaps, Joanne and Stacy. I'm struggling to find anything to add to them, but I'll just say that I heard Tori differently. I heard her saying that she was really upset to have voted out Zach because she was jealous that he was going to go eat and get a shower and sleep, and then that's when Drea or somebody was like, yeah, it's only going to get harder. That's how I heard it. Let's see. Daniel, I thought, was very smart. I'm liking him more and more every episode. If he's truly thinking that flushing Mike's idol means that nobody else will be activated, that is so smart, and that is not something I would have thought of, and I would love to see that happen because I'm sure the producers would hate it. Oh, really enjoyed getting more camp time this week. Got to know a bunch of the players. I really like are they yellow or orange? I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about.
Orange.
That tribe. I'm liking them. And I'm liking the green tribe. So it was nice to see some more content from both of those tribes. I would have found Mariah's negativity a lot more draining than Marianne's enthusiasm, but that's just me. And I kind of wonder if maybe Marianne potentially annoying the other players was maybe played up so that the episode seemed more of a toss-up as far as who was going home than it really was. I was worried about Marianne for a minute there, and I was really curious what was going to happen with her extra vote, because if she had decided to play her shot in the dark, would she have the chance to get up to the podium and know that she got her extra vote before she played? Because I kind of think maybe she wouldn't. Like, they only put it out if she's going to vote, I think. But I don't know. I would have been curious. So when I saw that she didn't play the shot in the dark, I was pretty sure that they had all settled on Mariah. That was pretty funny that Mike lost his idol, his Beware advantage. How embarrassing for him. Oh, I have a bone to pick with him, actually. As a soccer mom myself, I'm highly offended by his soccer comments, and I'm really glad that my daughter didn't see that episode. She would have been so mad. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you and hear from you after spring break. Bye.
All right. Have a fun time, Noelle. And as far as the shot in the dark, they play that when they go in to do their voting. That's where they put their little die
Drop
in.
the die and take the
and
note.
take the note.
Right.
And so she would know before she played it, because that's when they have it ready for her when it's her turn to
That's
go in
when
and vote.
Yeah, when she finds out how it
so
went
she
out.
would see that before she
Would be the first thing that
would
she
play.
sees coming in there. Yeah. Yep. Good deal. Thanks, Noelle. Have a great time. Next up, we got a call from Jade-n-Christine.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans. This is Jade
and Christine
from Hawaii.
Aloha. I'm back from my travels.
Yay!
Yes, and I must say it's really nice not to have to wear a sweater. Weather is beautiful again. I did get a chance to watch Survivor, all caught up, and I must say I am loving Omar and Jonathan's beautiful bromance. Their friendship bracelets and their promises, and it's looking good for Omar. I like his chances even better. I think they could be a power couple.
Yeah, definitely.
Coming up, if they play their cards right, hopefully it will be. It was disastrous at the
challenge.
The challenge, though.
Yeah. I think that's gonna go well for them. I don't know how I feel about High now. I mean, I picked him. He's my USB for better or worse, at least until he goes home. But I don't know, his vegan breakdown was just annoying to me. I used to be a vegetarian for ethical reasons, so I get it. But if you're going on Survivor, you just gotta know you're going to have to eat seafood at least.
Right.
So I'm hoping that this is just his kind of major breakdown, and from here on out he's going to rebound, and it's only going to go up for him. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to go better for him.
Hope so.
Yeah. Those the challenge, though, I mean, whenever we have these blindfold challenge, Jade.
Yeah.
For some reason, they always put those obstacles like below the waist, right?
Yes, they do.
And I was just cracking up that Daniel shouted out, "You gotta protect the balls, Roxroy," you know, and I thought that should have been the title. It just makes me laugh, but it does look really painful.
It does.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they do that on purpose because it's entertaining.
I don't know.
Anyway, with the vote out, I don't know. I was sort of annoyed because I thought Marianne probably would have been a smarter decision. I think she might be kind of a liability. But I wasn't attached to Marianne or Mariah, so I didn't really care that much.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Marianne. But I am putting all my safe points on Vati next week. I don't think that they're going to go to tribal next week either. They're looking strong.
Yeah, they are. And now they can sit out 2 people for a challenge.
Right.
So it might end up being like last season where you just have 6 coming into the merge.
Yep.
We'll see, but we're enjoying watching it.
Yes, love it.
Hope you all have a great week and can't wait to hear what everyone else thinks about the show.
Okay. Ahui ho.
Thanks, Jade-n-Christine, and great to have you back, Christine.
Well, I think now we know why Daniel chose to sit out that challenge.
Yeah, he was worried.
He probably
that he wouldn't be
was.
able to protect.
That's right.
Could be. Thanks. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi everyone, this is Jen in California. So I enjoyed this episode a lot this week. There were some high points and some cringy points. I think the high point for me was when Mike was telling Daniel about his idol. And Daniel said, you know what I think the best thing to do is? Just don't say anything. Don't say that phrase. What a great suggestion. Actually, on two levels, what a great suggestion. First of all, it's not Daniel's idol. It's not his advantage. So it's to his advantage or best interests to convince Mike to not use it to his advantage. So by saying don't say the phrase, that was quite a good manipulation there. But on the other hand, that actually was good advice as well, because if you have this potential idol and you have this completely silly phrase to have to say in front of everybody over and over and over again, honestly, I would wait until I heard one or two of the other phrases before I said my phrase. Why not? Especially since all of the phrases are included in every single Beware Advantage. I wonder what it would be like if each survivor only knew their own phrase. They didn't know what the other two phrases were, so they would have to listen closely to see if they heard something strange from a member of the other tribe. I don't know, I think that would add another degree of difficulty to the Beware Advantage, and I think that would make it a little more interesting. Now for the cringy part of the episode. The cringy part of the episode for me was love. All the talk about love. Marianne liking Zach, and all of the talk about the potential love affair that could happen. I mean, this is playing right into Jeff Probst's hands. Mm-hmm. He loves talking about love. I mean, it almost seemed like he would rather talk about Marianne's infatuation with Zach than the strategy of Survivor. I was a little cringed and irked about that. Another huge game faux pas on Mike's part was losing his idol. Have we seen this before? Have we seen anyone actually bury an idol and then lose it? I don't know if we've ever seen this before. I can't remember ever seeing it. It's incredible to me to see that Mike is going to potentially lose this Beware Advantage and potential idol, not once, but twice. Anyway, overall, I thought it was a solid episode. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for next episode. Can't wait to hear what all the Survivor fans have to say in listener feedback. And until next week, bye.
Thanks, Jen.
You and I were talking about, you said, well, you didn't think that Daniel would be allowed to take the idol and hide it. And I said, but he didn't have to take it. I believe Mike probably handed it to him. Because Daniel said, no, I gave it all back to you. And so if Mike gave it to Daniel for whatever reason, and he chose to hide it, I don't know if they would stop that.
I got to believe the first time Vadi loses at immunity, Mike's a goner.
Probably.
Because that's the much easier way to control that. The flip side is that it comes back in, but I don't think they'd have any trouble bringing Hai and Lydia in to vote Mike out. Daniel and Chanel, that is, under those circumstances.
True.
And then you just got to be the one that gets it next. Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here, and right off the bat, I have to say that Jenny is constantly impressing me. I like her mind when it comes to puzzles, and her frame of mind. However, I'm starting to worry about Mike. That guy is literally losing it just a few days into the game, and judging by the previews, it ain't gonna be getting any better for him. Now, I know that you're not allowed to steal from other players, but what happens when someone else hides an advantage, and I use the word hide very loosely here, but what happens if someone else discovers it? Is it a case of you should have hidden it better, or are they told that they can't take it? Of course, in this season, who knows? We're only 2 episodes in, and I'm thinking that season 42 should have come with a user's manual, or at least a link to a PDF that we could print out on our own ream of paper. Also, I have a funny feeling that due to Marianne, tribal councils probably take at least twice as long to film. I mean, that girl can go on. Also, she's got a bit of a Billy Garcia, Nick Wilson vibe going on when it comes to Zach. I mean, it would be cute to discover that love has blossomed between the two of them, but personally, I think she's just way too much woman for someone like Zach to handle. As for Hai, I really don't mean to offend anyone out there with this, but I have a serious question about vegans. Why is having or needing to eat meat so incredibly off-putting to them? Oh, that sounds so bad when I say them, but you know what I mean. We see less of a struggle to down sea slugs during an eating challenge than we do in having to eat some crab meat or fish or chicken, when there won't be any food for the next 4 or more weeks. It often comes across more as a morality issue rather than a dietary one, so is that really what it boils down to? And that might be a poor choice of words. Now, I know Hai planned on a diet of strictly rice, but even that runs low, so hey, I'm beginning to think that vegans aren't as well equipped as meat eaters when it comes to playing Survivor. But I'm thrilled to see that Hai has overcome his aversion to meat relatively quickly. Then we have Omar and Jonathan, an unlikely pairing, but maybe not. Yin and yang, Jonathan just impresses me on so many different levels. I have to say that I really like him, but yeah, Joanne, that hair. Also, you might think that his deep voice would be a great call-out voice for the challenge, but what you really need is a voice with more treble in it to cut through the air and all that other shouting.
Mm-hmm.
So Taku loses and Mariah is voted off. I'll admit that I feel sorry for Mariah. I didn't dislike her, but I didn't feel that she had much of a chance either. For the briefest of seconds, though, I thought that Jeff was going to actually say that she was safe when he revealed her shot in the dark. That said, I very much wish that she could have buried her necklace in honor of her brother on her own terms and in her own time. And when they showed that picture of her brother, I'd swear I remember seeing that very picture in the news when it happened. I probably did. So, who goes next? Well, I'm jumping ahead in my conclusions here, but judging by the previews, I think Drea is going to charge Roxroy like a runaway freight train, since he will underperform in the challenge to the point of needing to be rescued. Well, let's say helped, because we don't really know what's going on there yet. I think Taku's turn at Tribal this past week was a fluke, and that Aika will lose again. Lastly, I'd like to mention that I have the unique ability to predict the second person to be voted off. Of course, I always pick them as first to go and then change my mind on the second week, so what good does that do me, huh? Okay, everyone take care. Catch you all next week. Bye.
We'll have to try to take advantage of that next season, although it's a little convoluted process-wise.
I think some people become vegan for religious beliefs and other people for their life belief of they're taking a life in order to eat anything that was living, as far as, you have to kill it to eat it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of other reasons than just dietary. It's what I am trying to convey.
Gotcha.
Poorly, but...
We'll see that intense water portion of the immunity reward challenge is probably, we think it's going to get canceled and that they'll just reset on land. And then it comes down to who can throw a sandbag and have it hit one of the little, the multiple 4 or 5 shelves that they have them to land on at varying heights.
Doesn't seem to be as easy as you would think it is.
No, not necessarily. Do you think anybody's going to be particularly good at that?
Somebody probably will be.
Somebody tall?
Or lucky.
Jonathan, maybe?
Who knows?
Yeah. Getting up the ladder and getting the bag seems like it's not going to be anywhere near as much of a challenge. Or I can't imagine everybody doesn't do that sort of at the same time when they reset it. Maybe they'll have some other element that they throw in there. So we've never really heard about them coming up with alternate elements for a challenge in case one part gets canceled, have we?
Well,
I don't know if they could do that on the fly.
It looked like from the preview that we saw that all 3 tribes were in the water, but Jeff said both tribes.
Yeah, that was a little confusing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, our thought initially was, Taku must just blow through there with Jonathan and Lindsay coordinating on the ladder and her getting their sandbags, and then that left Vadi and Ika to struggle in the water, but it's not clear. Definitely not clear.
And it won't be until it airs.
There doesn't appear to be a puzzle in this challenge, at least that from the little bits that we've seen so far. So it'll be more about throwing and dexterity than anything else at the end. I think Vadi might struggle a little bit with that. I'm not sure they've got anyone that might be good at that.
I don't.
They don't have anyone who's overly tall, that's for sure.
I don't think of them as the more physical tribe at all. I don't. But I thought of Taku that way.
Taku's definitely the physical tribe.
Now they're the tribe that's down to 4.
Yeah.
Ika 5 and Vadi's got 6. So
yeah,
I guess you, from that point of view, could look at it as being a strong tribe. But anyway.
I'm excited to see how it pans out, and we're going to get some gimmicky element in the next episode, it looks like, from the press blurb about it. But hopefully it doesn't eat up too much time, and then we'll get more of the social elements and how they're playing out the dynamics there.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what is going on at the challenge, and even the big wave coming up when they were up on the platforms, just getting ready to dive in. It looked like it almost knocked them all in.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, here's a wave. Yeah, everybody go at once.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to mention there was another funny thing where I think it was Swathi. She tweeted at Zach saying that basically he had another option there too. So,
who knew Zach was going to be so popular?
Yeah, he's the Romeo. Okay, good deal. Well, we want to say thanks to everyone who took time to share their thoughts and predictions. We really enjoyed it. We appreciate hearing from all of you. It was great to hear from the folks that hadn't chimed in yet this season. We look forward to more of that. We also want to say a big thanks to James and Scott and Kim for your donations. We appreciate all your support. That's a big help. Thank you so much.
And if you play in JSFL, don't forget to make your Week 3 picks. 1 vote off and 4 safe.
If you'd like to join us in this next listener feedback show, you can call and leave a voicemail, 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. You can record an audio comment and attach it, or just type up a quick message and send it to us via email at joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback is due noon Pacific time on Saturdays, and we ask that you keep it in that 3-minute range. Thank you so much. Folks did great. I think we had about half of the audios in by Friday this week, and that was a big help. Yeah, make sure we don't get completely overwhelmed on Saturdays.
All right. Anything else you wanted to say before we wrap it?
Nope.
All right. We'll be back on Wednesday with our next recap.
Have a good one.